This past week, I spent a few days in Little Rock for the clergy continuing education program at the diocese. It's always a good chance, we do this twice a year, always a good chance to see brother priests and a good opportunity to hear some presentations on a theological or ministerial topic. On Thursday afternoon, I was driving back to Fayetteville and noticed how beautiful the trees looked along the interstate. And I even decided to take the pig trail so that I could see a little bit more of that color on the rest of the way in. The ironic thing, though, about the beauty of fall foliage is that we get to see those beautiful red and orange and yellow leaves precisely because the leaves are dying. Trees need less energy when they are without leaves, and they can conserve moisture better when they don't have leaves. So that's helpful in the colder, drier months of winter that are ahead of us. But in the process then, the leaves turn colors before they fall off, and so we get to see the beauty of those colorful leaves as the chlorophyll in the leaves breaks down as part of the process of the leaves dying and falling off the trees. Now, we don't normally think of the process of dying as producing something beautiful, but in the case of the leaves this time of year, it is indeed a beautiful process. Well, the church thinks in particular today about death, not the death of leaves, but the death of human beings, the death of children of God. Today is officially the commemoration of all the faithful departed, a celebration typically called All Souls Day. It occurs on November 2nd every year, and this year we have the privilege of November 2nd being a Sunday. Today's celebration is not meant to say that the dying process of our brothers and sisters on earth is beautiful in the way that those colorful leaves are, although sometimes it can be. But today does remind us that our departed loved ones are spiritually still with us. When we die, we go either to heaven or to hell or to purgatory. Hell is the destination for those who die without God's grace, those who have rejected His offer of salvation through mortal sin, which they've not repented of. Heaven is for those who die in a state of grace. And if one dies with no attachment to sin and in perfect grace, then one goes to heaven right away. Purgatory, then, is the state of purification and preparation for heaven. If we die in a state of grace, but still attached to some sin, God offers purgatory so that we can be cleansed and made ready for heaven. An analogy I like to use here is to think about traveling to Paris and taking a 3-year-old along with you. That child won't be able to appreciate the Eiffel Tower or the Louvre or any of the other great cultural elements to be found there. But as that child grows up and reaches maturity, the child will be able to appreciate those things. And if you take that same child, not when they're 3 years old, but when they're 20 or 25 years old, well, it's a whole different experience. The child's experience and learning will have helped him or her to truly appreciate the marvels that are found in a place like Paris. Similarly, if we are attached to some sin, we cannot fully enjoy heaven. But if we have been purified of that attachment, we can more fully enjoy being in the presence of God. Someone asked me once whether purgatory or that belief in purgatory meant that we are somehow de-emphasizing the saving power of Jesus. Not at all. Again, we must remember the purifying power of purgatory is itself a grace given by God. It is possible precisely because of the saving work of Jesus. Just as He gave us sacraments like baptism and reconciliation to forgive sins in this life, so also does He make possible a purifying grace after this life. We don't know who is in purgatory, and we don't know how long that purification lasts. In fact, I'm not even sure how we really talk about time at all when we're talking about the next life. Not knowing who's in purgatory, not knowing how long it lasts, we recognize a need to pray for the dead. And that's what the church emphasizes today, the importance of praying for the faithful departed. So I encourage you to pray for your deceased loved ones. And at some point this month, make a prayerful visit to a cemetery to pray for everyone buried there. Consider taking your children along so that they too learn this great practice as well. And so that one day they'll remember to pray for your eternal rest as well. As leaves change color and die this time of the year, the church also takes a moment to think and pray about the reality of death. We do so not because we are discouraged or defeated by it. On the contrary, we believe strongly in the resurrection and have hope because of it. As St. Paul says, if then we have died with Christ, we believe that we shall also live with him. A month or so from now, most of those beautiful leaves will have died and fallen to the ground, and the trees will look barren without them. But even there, we know that death does not get the last word, because in the spring, we'll once again see green leaves and green grass. And so in considering our own mortality, we know that death in this life opens the door to the newness of life with God. Pray that we will always be ready to accept his gifts, and pray for those in purgatory now as they are purified and prepared for heaven.